Have you heard the phrase, debt is the root of all evil? Debt is slavery. This is true to a large extent, because when you're buried in debt, your own life is over. While attempting to pay off your debts aren't interested in you. They are growing every day because no one else lends money for nothing. There is interest to pay. Despite all this, the United States has adopted debt. Total U.S. household debt is nearly $15 trillion, making the average family debt over $5,300. The individual GDP of the United States is almost $21 trillion, which means the entire economy is made up out of debt. However, I have to confess that more often than not, debt is not so bad. A lot of people think that all the debt we have is bad. You're probably carrying credit card debts, a car loan, and most probably a mortgage, and you think, I'll never be able to pay it all off. How scraps of debt can be positive. It is because debt itself can benefit us. By getting to know the advantages and risks of debt, we can understand the value of debt. Let's look at how people with money turn to debt to make more cash. It sounds a bit confusing because why would anyone with plenty of cash use debts to begin with? That is being used by people who don't have much. But that's not how capitalism works. This can be a valuable tool if you know how to use it. In this video, you'll learn how to improve your financial life. So, give this video a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Let's get right into it. Number 1. Most of the trade is based on debt. It might sound controversial because obtaining loans to start a business is bad, and I would not do that either. But there are enterprises, mainly traditional businesses, where getting loans is the most fantastic option. For example, let's say you want to sell pens. It's only a standard product, and there is constantly a demand for it. So ideally, you will go to China and locate a factory that produces this type of pen with international standards and the best quality. You would invest in a bag of pens, transport them to the US, and offer them to your customers. But this is typically done online through sites like Alibaba, unless it's a more complicated product that asks for you to fly right to that factory. But here's the catch. You do not need to pay for the products to acquire them first. Over the past 50 years, China has become the world's leading manufacturer of literally everything. Countless factories work around the clock to produce everything that the world needs. Most production centers are willing to lend me their products at a fixed price that I will pay for later to save time and effort. Of course, they would not give to outsiders, so it would help if you built some trust with them first. That's how business has been running for over 50 years. When the client sells a product in the US or anywhere else, he would pay for production facilities and borrow additional products. So you're telling the production facility that you know how to make it. So let me assist you in selling it. That will be my profit if I can sell it for anything above this value. What makes this strategy great is that you're not tying up your own money. This is the action. So selling is among the best skills you can learn. Number 2, refinancing. Real estate mortgages are the best kind of debt since they have numerous tax loopholes. If you do not need to mortgage your home, you unnecessarily pay additional tax. Wealthy individuals take every opportunity to get multiple mortgages to benefit from all those tax deductions. Remember, every penny you budgeted to pay in taxes, and instead, you get to keep is an additional dollar. So that is another way by which people become wealthier. But let me give you more sensible methods. This is how rich people get rich in real estate. Let's say you saved $200,000. That's a lot of money, but if we were to be honest, we're talking about little money. You can't even buy a house. Of course, you can't get a mortgage for $800,000 because of a down payment of 20%. But the thing is that cash flow is the secret. Let's say you find an investment property that costs $500,000. It's deteriorated and requires repair or maybe a significant remodeling job. You had to get a home mortgage through a 20% down payment. You spend approximately 10% of the total investment price in the house's renovation, or around $50,000. Although you had to rebank again, this time to refinance your mortgage, the value of your home was only $500,000 because it was in such a bad state that people did not want to live there. However, there is interest in renting it out since you renovated it now. As a result, this real estate's market value has automatically increased by $700,000. Again, let's assume you want to get an 80% mortgage, though 80% of $700,000 is $560,000. So $400,000 out of that money will go to the first bank that gave you your mortgage, and let's subtract another $50,000 spent on renovations, and you'll be left with a profit of $110,000. And you will be left with an extra profit of $110,000. You created $110,000 by utilizing debt, and you kept a home that can generate passive income and even build your net worth. On top of that, you will not have to pay taxes once you file your annual tax return, as you have a home loan. For real estate investors, this is a pretty standard approach. This practice is quite common for real estate investors. Can you see this as bad? I'll leave that up to you to answer in the comment section below. Number 3, hedge funds. Wealthy individuals make hedge funds to create rich people richer. They frequently utilize odd strategies. Mortal people like me do our best to determine which companies will grow and rise in value and invest the funds we work hard to earn in businesses for these companies to develop. Hedge funds typically use a different strategy to entice investors. They attempt to make a profit when companies fail or go bankrupt because of what happened with GameStop. However, the threat of losing over $13 billion showed the internet challenge could not be ignored. How do hedge funds make money off debt? If you consider it likely, a certain stock will drop like Facebook, because you know that Apple, which releases the most popular smartphone, has announced that the company will no longer allow apps to track you like Facebook or Instagram, track your movement on the internet, and make privacy their top priority. So here, Facebook's business model will probably harm, and so you pick up your phone and call up your broker to obtain a $100 Facebook stock and rapidly resell it in the open markets for $100. Congratulations, you now have $100 in your pocket and $100 owed to your broker one stock. Let's say you're right today, and since next week, the Facebook stock price has fallen to $70. You can use this $100 to buy one Facebook stock for $70 since the price has dropped, and show your $100 to your broker and keep the difference. Congratulations, you have made $30 from an entire stock. It sounds simple in theory, but it can be difficult and risky. What happens if you are wrong? What if the value doubled overnight? You still have to return the single Facebook stock to your broker and pay interest for borrowing that stock. Now you need to repurchase that stock for $200 to return it to your broker. If you sell a stock at its peak, the amount of money you lose will be greater than the sum of money you invested. If your loss of investment increases, your loss keeps rising. Theoretically, you can make infinite losses since the stock price can continuously increase. However, if you have 100 analysts assisting you, you can make a fortune using the strategy. Number 4, Forex. Forex is a market where currencies are exchanged. It makes global trade possible. You could use the US dollar in China. For instance, you have to purchase Chinese yen to pay your employees in China. Therefore, there is a market in which anyone or any company can buy foreign currencies. And based on different factors, these currencies fluctuate. For example, the Fed raising interest rates will limit the supply and create a demand for the dollar, boosting its value against other assets and vice versa. So, if you know which currencies will rise or fall, you could make a lot of money on the stock market. But what makes this industry different from others is that you can borrow another $100 for every dollar you put into Forex trading. Therefore, if you're using $1,000, you can hold a position of $100,000. So if you earn a tiny profit like 1%, it will be huge. Number 5, credit score. As you can see, this is a pretty helpful tool. Every successful business, company, entrepreneur utilizes that in various ways, especially if you have a proven business model. Borrowing money from loan providers to finance purchase orders is very common for just about any business. Therefore, stop regarding all loan debt as a bad investment. Of course, following high interest rate debt, such as credit card debt, can be a terrible idea. But to receive a lower interest rate, you have to minimize the risks of loaning your money money. How do you do that? You have established a reputation for being a dependable borrower. Billions of dollars or trillions of dollars are in banks waiting for someone to borrow them. And if there isn't enough money, banks can make money out of thin air. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so whenever we upload a new video, you will be notified. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the following video. Goodbye.